Do you feel like energy is coming and you don't know whether you are ready for it or not? I hope that's how you're feeling because that tells me you're actually prepared for what's coming. We are moving into an era that is all about racing forward, not based on what other people are telling us to do, but based on our own personal wisdom, our own personal guidance. And I am so excited to have with me my very good friend, Anna Tsui. She is the author of Shadow Magic, but you may actually know her because she has become a viral sensation on Instagram with originally her video talking about the fire horse energy we're moving into. But since then, dropping wisdom bombs on people that is exactly the kind of information we are needing right now. So, welcome, Anna.
Hello, Patty. So nice to be here in your cozy presence.
No, it's so good to have you here. So, I think the funnest question that I want to start with is what does it feel like going viral?
It feels insane because I'm getting messages from my friends and they're giving me the recap, right? And I'm like, no, I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I'm literally trying to avoid it for a reason. And then I got notification that Kylie Jenner liked one of my posts. And I was like, who's that? And I had to like look her up. She sounds so familiar. And then one of my friends lost her mind because she's like, Kylie Jenner loves horses. She's like one of the Kardashians. Did you know that? And she like loves horses. And it's like such a big, it's like, it's really interesting. And it's such the vibe of the time, right? It's like the element right now is fire, and fire is just one of these things that just like kind of goes and then it booms and then it goes somewhere else. And it's like learning how to ride this energy has been a journey in the past week. It's only been a week. I felt like it's been a year.
And I'll just let you guys all know I was one of those friends. I was like, 123K, 120. And then I did the math and I'm like, you are gaining 1,000 followers an hour now, Anna. Just so you know, you don't
Like
even have to look anymore. I've done the math.
you really
So,
did. I fell asleep with that voice in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, 1,000. And like that's yeah.
and I do think it's bigger than it just being, people go viral and I am having a good time watching it happen because you always wonder if the people behind the viral energy did something to create it or what happened, and having walked the journey of our lives together for so many years, I know what you've been doing, and it's the day-to-day work, the day-to-day work of cleaning up your energy, of saying, "Is this in alignment?" Really getting granular with, "Is this in alignment? Is this not in alignment?" And I've watched you do it not to go viral, for your own personal well-being, for your own personal strength, for your ability to show up as a leader in your community. So to watch this then spark, right? Spark
True. Yeah.
flames is so cool. So, for this conversation, what I'd really love is for you to share with people. First of all, give them an overview of what you shared in the video that went viral, just so they have a context. And then
Oh,
let's get
so
into like what your advice is for people as we head into this year to make the most
okay.
of it.
Okay. Well, if you haven't seen the video at this point, it was just me in my car and I was picking up my kid from daycare, which is where I do most of my videos. Like if you guys watch, I have a bigger channel on TikTok. It's just me in my car, and that's the parking spot of me about to pick up my kid, embracing myself. And I was just saying how in numerology, 2026 is a year 10 because when you add up all the numbers, it's a 10. But people usually just add 1 and 0 together and call it a year 1, and they're like, "Oh, this is the year of new beginnings, and we just closed, like, a 9-year cycle." But there was something about that kinda didn't feel true to me because it's truly a year 10, and 10 is binary code, and 10 actually has a significance. So it's just kinda riffing off on the fact that 10 is yes, 1 is new beginnings, but 0 is infinity, and it's co-creation. And that really lined up with what I've been experiencing, which is, like, coming online, like reconnecting, re-remembering these like gifts that I had, re-remembering not like direct memories from past life, but just like these knowings
Mhm.
and just being called into these like rabbit holes where now I'm maybe writing a book on Yashodhara, who is the wife of Siddhartha before he became Buddha. It's like, where does this come from? And it's because of like following these like intuitive hits, following these little obsessions, going down these little nonsensical rabbit holes that these like gifts or these memories are awakening. And I just kind of put all that together in this video, which by the way, Patty, like I was not going to share. I actually uploaded it and then I was like, this is a little no one's gonna understand the rant level of this video, and that's the thing that caught on, but like you said, it was from all of this other work that I've been doing and all of the videos that I made that had, no views, right? And it's like, it's the inner fortitude. That's what I think this time is calling for us to do is like, whatever you're doing, don't judge by, like what you think should happen, but judge by what it's bringing up in you and can you heal that? Can you love that? And that will allow you to go to the next level. And that's really the treasure, I think.
Okay, I wanna stop there. I just wanna make note of this. Can you heal that and can you love that? Like, for those of you watching, I really want you to write that down. Is can you heal that and can you love that? That's so potent right there. That's such good wisdom and really such a good focal point. And I do want to say I will drop a link below to Anna's channel, so don't go searching for them right now. I will drop them below. You can go grab them afterwards. And I do want you to go back and watch my predictions videos because this ties Anna and I started talking before this to say like where are we going to focus our time to make sure that this interview doesn't go like 2 hours, which we are capable of doing as well. And um we had started talking about this, and that was the headline for the energy predictions is spiritual independence. Not looking left or right and seeing what other people are doing and getting your context from even spiritual teachers that maybe you followed in the past. There's nothing wrong with listening to what they say, but then you have to ingest it and say, is it true for me? And be willing to leave things behind that aren't true for you. Okay, thank you for indulging me. Keep talking. Tell
Wait,
us more.
I was
Tell
thinking about the video that you just did, and I was like binging on Patty's videos, and I was like, this is so true. It's all in alignment. And if you look at all of the kind of like mystical cultures and houses and astrology and human design, like they're kind of all saying the same thing. And human design is basically saying this is the end of a 400-year cycle based on institutions, right? Where we believed in the church and we believed in this and we believed in our government and we believed in our companies would like take care of us and all that stuff, and there was like stability there, right? For a good, bad, whatever. And that stability, as we can see, has been gradually eroding to the point now where it's going to be very apparent that people won't know where to turn to. And the only answer then is to turn within. That is the only answer, is to build this like internal fortitude, to build this like understanding of who you are. And in order to do that, you have to do the healing, right? And I think that's what originally you were asking is like, can you heal that? Can you love that? And I love everything that Patty says. And I'm also a student of the receiving school. Patty talks a lot about love. Loving and healing is the same thing. Healing is just returning back to love. And there's a cycle of healing, there's a cycle of love, right? And all starts with ourselves. And if we can't like love ourselves through us consistently failing at life, then I really don't know what other important work there is, right? Consistently failing at being a good parent, at being like good in my marriage, at being someone who's good in my business. If you are consistently failing, it means you actually have the upper hand on a lot of people who aren't even trying, right? And that's why I have zero imposter syndrome. Okay. Like I'm not even, I don't, I know some people. So my friend to me yesterday was like sending me these people that she followed, and you can tell these people put a lot of work in their videos. Like I'm talking like days, years, months in like one reel. Right. Mine's me talking in my car. A little bit of imposter syndrome came like I don't try that hard, but I don't have imposter syndrome because I know I've done the work, I've done the healing, I have like the inner fire, I guess, to prove it. And that's because I use life as my teacher. And if we can just love ourselves through life, like that's the only journey that matters, I think.
Uh, I love that so much. And especially, I'm thinking of so many conversations I've been having with clients um, towards the end of the year. And, I had done a program where we were doing reflection work on the year. and then on the last 9 years, and people were saying, like, "I need to forgive myself for that mistake I made with money, with that mistake I made with a person, with that like, whether it was trusting that person or letting a person down, like, all this seeing it as mistakes, and we have grown up, no matter what age you are, we have grown up being told that getting it right means, having the result of this external success, whether it's money or relationships or kids or whatever it is, that means you were spiritually on track.
Mhm.
And that if you end up with debt, if you end up with a broken relationship, if you end up with whatever it is, that you made a wrong turn somewhere. When the opposite is true, like we didn't come to have an easy experience. Some people did because this is a rest life for them, right? Like
Yeah,
maybe
those
they had
folks
what?
those folks
Yeah, good
do
for
not speak
you.
English.
Good for you. Because you earned that rest, right?
Yeah,
So if you see someone that legitimately is having like an easy life, just know they earned that. Not that we earned a hard life, but that we chose
yeah,
challenges. Like we chose, and we're coming to this fulcrum, right? Where believing you got it wrong because something went wrong has to end. And it ends because when you learn to go within and find, you use this term, your inner sanctuary. I love that, Anna. Like when you find that inner place that has the truth, you can dive in. And being someone who had over 6K in debt, I mean, not 6K, six figures in debt,
mm,
um, I can go within and understand, oh, I see the beauty in that journey. I see it, right? But externally, the only way I would have been able to see that is that because we're out of it, right?
yes,
But it was within that window where the angel said to me, "You didn't do anything wrong. You were just giving more than you had to give." And that
mm.
was such important wisdom. And it's wisdom I've shared with so many people. And if I hadn't walked that journey, I wouldn't have been able to share that wisdom. So,
I love that you said 6K in debt because actually that's the amount of debt exactly, basically, that I'm paying off right now, and I remember you saying that about debt probably, like, a year ago or something, right?
I mean, I've talked about that right since the beginning of receiving school.
Yeah, and I've never feared it, I've never thought that I couldn't pay it off, like, I could just pay it off now, I kinda like it, I mean, there's just an interesting relationship that we build with these bad things in life. And when you just kind of like see that, oh, it's just a reflection of my choices and my experience and whatever, and you can reclaim it at any time. You can make it positive at any time. You can re-narrate it at any time. It's like, oh, wow, there's nothing really that is holding me down or holding me back except for my story of it or how I see it. Right. Because really, I feel so much love from this debt. It was just like, for me, it was like momentum to keep on going. Like if I didn't have this debt, if I didn't have bills to pay, if I didn't have a kid, I'd probably be, sitting on a, you know, couch somewhere, a sofa somewhere, like a beach somewhere, like, you know, not living my full ability.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that grit that produces the pearls, right? That grit that is what we rub up against to also transitioning into, we're leaving a snake year. Not that I am particularly, like,
Yeah.
well versed in the full Chinese astrology, but we are moving from snake energy, which is shedding those skins. So when we rub
Yeah.
up against those challenges, it's
Yeah.
help us, like, let go of what's real for us, what's real, what is true, what's not true. So you talked about the fire energy,
Mhm.
which is so fascinating to me because so first of all, let's just talk about what are the elements besides fire. So there's fire,
Oh,
which is
fire, wood, water, earth, and then there's also metal. And I'm not an expert on this either,
mhm,
but basically, Chinese astrology is based on the elements, and there's like thousands and thousands of years of calculations that they've done. And I talked about the fire era, which is like a very specific part of Chinese astrology, which has to do with feng shui. Like the kind of arrangement of your house that makes it harmonious for, you know, um, basically bringing in certain elements in your life and mitigating certain things that you don't want and welcoming like the chi, welcoming like this like healthy energy into your home. So there's a part of feng shui that talks about the fire era, which is the next, which they call period 9, which is the next 20 years ruled by the element of fire. So,
Mhm.
a little background.
Yeah. So I think that's, to me, that's so fascinating because I'm gonna mix worlds right now, but in my like regular astrology, my Western astrology chart, I have no fire at all. I have like, and I'm almost like 80% air.
Wow. That's crazy because you're so grounded to me.
Well, this has just not come naturally. But to me, I'm like, "Ooh, the fire, I
Yes.
need the fire."
Yes.
So tell us what, what the fire does. And also, we don't have to, make you the expert in this, but I do think it's helpful. You've gone down the rabbit hole of this. So,
Yeah. So air and fire are actually very complementary because they give like life. Air gives life to fire. And I'm a lot of earth, earth, wood. And so that's also very complementary because that feeds fire. And so fire is, if we just think about fire, it's an accelerator. But also in kind of Chinese tradition, fire in traditional Chinese medicine, it has to do with like the blood, the eyes, the heart, right? The heart is passion. And so even in, our culture, it's like passion, like we get that. That's you're very fire, you're very passionate. And so basically the archetypes, if you will, or the energetics of success are the qualities that are really pleasing to the eyes, really attractive to the eyes, and also that come from the heart, alignment with the heart. And so if you can find a way within yourself to really, in an authentic way, align with the qualities that are um, with your passion, like what you could just talk about all the time. And also, can you begin to heal some of your wounding around visibility? Because visibility is so important. And there are people who are doing things visibly, but they deep down don't want to be seen. And that's very obvious. And we're in an era now where you just can't hide anymore. Like, you can't hide behind the facade of, like, basically, like, pretending to be someone else, even though that's actually what we were taught. Like, we have to be professional, we have to be whatever, we have to be trustworthy, and so we have to, like, put on this mask. But now we're in the era where, like, all gloves are off. Like, it's who you really are, and the algorithm will pick up on that, right? And so, like, if you're really
Mhm.
able to do, especially this work around being seen. Visibility, I think, is a huge thing for people. And even if you don't have a business, right? Like visibility in your relationships, like you talk about being able to receive, right? Love and support. Like that's visibility. You have to be visible. You have to be there, be an actual person, like show up and ask for things and contribute things. And so that fire element is really prevalent. And if you embody those qualities, I think it's just gonna catch hold much quicker than before because fire is fast.
Hey, yes. Speaking to your viral energy
Yes.
right now,
Yeah.
right? Is like you weren't doing anything other than showing up and being authentic and
Yeah.
in a space that really is filled with a lot of manufactured material now because of AI. And I've got nothing against AI. Like, I think it's a wonderful tool when used well and with discernment and with some restraint. But when you just are building an entire empire based on manufactured content, whether you're the manufactured part or the content is, then yeah, it's going to fall flat and people are
Yeah.
going to feel it.
And it's gonna be so crowded, and people are really just gonna be like, "I need to see a person. I need to talk to somebody who speaks like a real person."
So I want to jump in here because I think something just hit me, a download where I think it's possible that people may not pick up on what visibility means in this context. Um, with something you said, which is for a lot of us, we absorbed habits of ways to show up that kept us safe as children. The fixer, the overgiver. I'm naming the ones that tend to be in my community. The fixer, the overgiver, the good girl, the nice person, right? And all of those things are helpful qualities if they're authentic, if they're coming from an authentic place. But if for you listening, if you're operating in a place where you're doing something so that people like you or so that your environment stays safe, rather than it being true for who you truly are in that moment, that's visibility too. That is something you're going to have to contend with in this fire energy, I would imagine.
Yeah, because fire is also purifying, and it's at the root of it, it's really helping you see and be your authentic self without having to have the walls up, without having all these like protective mechanisms, right? Because we're all evolving towards that. And I think fire really leans on strength. And so and fire is also about charisma, there's just like so much about that kind of like I don't know, I guess it's just trying to get everyone to be like Italian. there's
I
like
love that.
there's something about like how being true to your heart, and so many of us, I think, have put on the people pleasing energy or the being safe energy or the I'll take care of it energy, whatever mask that we've had to wear or, job titles to survive. We don't need that anymore. And the fire energy is trying to show you that you can just be yourself. You can say no. You can ask for help. You can just say like, hey, I have this business and, we don't do everything and we might not even be like the best people who sell mugs, but I created this mug because I love it and this is my story. And there you go. Right. There's like so many different levels of authenticity that are so touching to people. And when I think about it just really catching fire, it's like it touches touches people's hearts. And the vision that I've seen for a while is when we're able to open our hearts, like other people's hearts will open and people with open hearts will be the people who change the world, like especially in this era.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I still have some more questions, but I do feel like people are probably watching and being like, okay, how can I go deeper with this? And you have a program that you put out and you've had on a fire sale, but the fire sale is ending the day that we're recording this. So Anna agreed to do something for me, which is to give a code to you guys and extend the sale for 2 more weeks just for you. So, um, tell us a little bit about the program, and then I will give you guys the code. Mhm.
Yes, so it's called the fire class. I wish I called it a fire sale. I called it a flash sale. Oh, Patty's
Oh
such a
my
cheap.
god. Sorry.
Yeah, but it was something that I taught earlier in the year, and that did really well. And but now it's like really just like really gotten like pretty viral. So we have like hundreds of people in it now. And the fire era class is basically your preparation for the next 20 years. So everything that we talked about plus more in terms of what to start seeing in our reality and what type of businesses will be thriving and what will just kind of like suffer a little bit. And these are the things that you can do for not just your business, but also for yourself and for your life to really catch on to that fire energy. So it's called the fire era class.
And is this good for people who you primarily work with entrepreneurs. So, is this good for someone who is not an entrepreneur?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It was not made specifically for entrepreneurs. So actually there's a bonus class in there that's a business clinic to help implement this energy into your business. But the fire hour is for anyone who's just really curious, like in whatever, because we talk about careers in there too. And we talk about crypto, we talk about all of these things that are really like relevant for the next 20 years.
Oh, and I gotta tell you guys, I am older than Anna, and so we have been in, like, an ongoing entrepreneurial relationship for many years, but, like, sometimes Anna talks about stuff, and I'm just like, "I wish I could care. I wish I could care about crypto, I really do," but she is, like, super into
You're in
the
banking.
sport.
You're in banking.
I know I should, but anyway, okay. So the link to the course is going to be below. Your code is magic. So the course is going to, when you get to the course page, it's going to be $222 is what
Hmm.
it's going to say.
Hmm.
When you use the code magic, I even put a little banner here. Let's see. Add banner. Okay. When you use coupon code MAGIC at checkout, it will reduce the price to $22, which has been Anna's flash sale. So I'll put the code below as well. But that code is only going to be good until January 23rd. So do not wait. And also, I think you said there was going to be something for people in that course that was going to run what day? When were you going to do?
The 15th. We're doing the business clinic on the 15th if you can catch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so if you join before the 15th, then you would then be able to participate in that live if you do have a business and you wanna be a part of that. So, okay. So, what are some of the things that you're seeing around you that are either causing you to have pause and to the point where you're like, you wanna grab people and be like, "You're not seeing this," because I know you've been getting a lot of downloads. What would
Oh
you
my
want to
gosh, Patty.
Yeah,
I feel like compassion is this thing that I see as a solution to everything. Like, I feel like for lifetimes, I've been searching for the solution, like the one solution. And then you and I kind of came into this like entrepreneurial world, coaching world, and all that stuff. And I was like, that there's an energetic about that that doesn't feel like it. And so the more I go into it, when I embody and when I embody the energy of compassion and I see life through this lens of compassion, which I think a lot of your viewers probably do, it's like the answers come to me. It's like a different level of download, right? Because it comes from this frequency of unconditional love, which is what compassion is. And so when I do that, it's like, oh, things become so much more clear. And then I realize all of the time that I'm searching for the answer, it's because 'cause I'm coming from my brain and I want to know, I want to control, I want to be perfect and do the right thing, I want to but then when I feel out into the world, it's like people are just craving compassion. They're just craving love. They're craving some sort of understanding. It's like we all crave the love of our own heart, but, like, we go everywhere else looking for it, and that's basically the economy, right? Like, that's the economy and how people can sell us stuff, but the new world that's coming, it's from people, like you said, detaching from spiritual like, gurus and all of that stuff, and maybe, like, checking out people like me and you and whoever and like, "Oh, let me see if that feels true for me, and what's my journey?" And so I feel like the more compassion we can have first with ourselves, the more that we can see, like, our life for what it really is, you know? So, like, I'm married to my husband and we have, like, a young kid, and sometimes it's really difficult to be compassionate to each other, especially when you marry the perfect person who sets off your exact childhood triggers, which everyone does, right? So it's like, ugh, but then it's like, oh, it's like a whole different I see a whole different person, you know? And it's like, wow, this is like the cheat code almost, you know?
amazing, amazing. You know, I'm a big advocate for compassion, and
Yes.
I think having compassion for yourself is big work. I remember when I was doing my master's in psychology, I had a professor that I adored because he was, which was, I did not, when I was doing psychology, I was not focused on addiction, but I took every class, and he only taught addiction types of therapies, but I took every single one of his classes because there was just something in his teaching. And the one thing he would do at the start of every semester of every class was have people say, out loud, every single person is doing the very best they can with what they have. And he just drove that point home. And I know that that is what made him able to do the work he did because he would work with unhomed populations of addicts. You know, when he wasn't teaching, he was at, halfway houses in different places. And he never saw any human different than any
Mhm.
other. And that I think is an amazing gift. I mean, I'm certainly not there. I aspire to be there. I can correct myself and get there, but I don't get there authentically, naturally, immediately.
Oh, yeah.
But if
Who
we can
does?
remember that everything we did before this moment in time, we were expressing ourselves at the very best we could with what we had, with the resources, internal and external resources. When we understand that every single person is doing that as well, then compassion doesn't become confusing. You know, it's like, look, that whatever you see as frustrating and as confusing and as, messed up as it might look to you, when all the parts of that person and their history and their emotional makeup and their psychological makeup came together, that is the very best expression of themselves in this moment. Um, I think it leaves us room to respond differently.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Completely agree, and when I feel into energetically, because 'cause I'm all about the energy, and that's how I kind of feel for truth, right? It's like, how does this feel? Compassion, especially when you're holding it for yourself and holding it for others and holding it for the world. when that energy, takes hold, it's like it opens up infinite possibility. It, like, opens up channels. It, like, clears out obstacles. Whereas, like, if we have more, like, control or judgment or like, I get a lot of, parents, like, my friends who are parents talk to me about their kids and how they're so worried about their kids because this one didn't graduate college yet, and, he's getting older and what and I can just feel, that you can just kind of feel like, "Oh, man, this doesn't" it actually restricts them more than if you maybe just listen, offer some compassion. And of course, you want the best for your kid, you want the best for people in your life. But when you embody compassion, you allow the person that you love the most, including yourself, to have like this like opening to discovering what their path is, which is like really the ultimate gift, right? To like really healing their own shame and stuff and like finding what's right for them. And like I can just see so many people in the world finding that. And it might look exactly like your life, but just like more compassion and more maybe like passion and fire. Or it could look like something completely different, but like you have that inner place where you can always come home to yourself. I think that's like the biggest thing is like we need to be able to come home to ourselves during this time where there is going to be probably more chaos because these big institutions and these big structures that have had their foothold in our psyche, but maybe weren't necessarily doing the best things all the time, like
Mm.
that has to end. And so for all of us, maybe we'll be, even if we're happy seeing it end, there's a part of us that's, like, terrified because it's like, "Wait a
Yeah.
second, so then you know, what am I gonna do? What is my family gonna do?" And those are really real questions to ask, but our intuition will always guide us. It hadn't.
Yes. Yes. That's the key. Because when we learn to have that inner agency, then it doesn't end up mattering what happens. Like you might have an immediate nervous system reaction to a dismantling that's happening around you, whether it's happening in your home or at a higher level, a bigger level, community or bigger, even, country and industry. But that's just your mind, and your mind is activating your nervous system because it thinks change is bad. But then if you develop that inner agency and then you can come within, then from that place you can just reset your nervous system because you will find peace there because nothing that's happening isn't is happening to you. Everything that's happening around you is happening for you.
It really is, and when you have compassion, when you really develop that lens, like, you can see it, and you can be honest with yourself, like, "I really didn't like that job anyway." Like, I actually fully hated that job. But having that extra bit, like you said, of like that, and you talk about receiving, you talk about surrendering. I think that's really important. And in order to get there, obviously, like there's some healing that needs to happen. You need to probably have some support. I've always found support helpful, right? Because we're moving through like grieving of our old lives. But just know that like whatever's happening, it really is for your greatest good. Allow yourself to see that because I find sometimes people are so like, you talked about addiction, just addicted to this story that, oh, life just doesn't like me, or I'm the type of person who no matter what, something happens. And so we get addicted to these narratives of ourselves. And like, if you are watching this, especially, it's time to let go of that narrative if, you know, you think it doesn't serve you, which I don't think it does.
Yeah. No, I want your I think this is our like, last point of conversation, but we'll see. Um, what I was shown was that we are all moving into this, elevated vibration, but that we'd be moving in stages, and it's not if you're, like, at the front of the line that somehow you're better. It has nothing to do with that. It just had to do with, who was prepared to go first, second, etcetera. And from my perspective, and I'm curious if what your thoughts are, if you're listening to what Anna just said and you're thinking like, I don't know what my story is, I feel very dysregulated right now. I feel completely torn apart. Like I cannot get the ground underneath me, which is not a bad thing. It just means you're going through this thing,
You're in the
right?
thick of it.
Yeah. Um, to me, it would be look for who is around you or online that you feel is maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of you in having walked that journey and just seems to be more, at home inside themselves and just sort of pay attention to them, absorb their energy. I don't know if this is even right. I'm just kind of getting this visual
No,
of
I do
like,
that too, but I also find movie characters who are like, "Oh, yes," like,
mm,
like, or characters from a book, and it's like it's everything's arbitrary, so you can pick, right? And then just be like, "Oh, that's, like, kind of my guy." Oh, like, they've done this before, even if it's, like, fictitious,
and
it doesn't
and
matter.
and I'll just make a side note because I know some of you are absorbing way too much social media. If you're absorbing a piece of content from a teacher or a speaker or a character and it's making you feel worse about yourself, that is not the person. They are not there. They're still in the cycle of manipulation. So listening to them, being in their presence, whether it's, virtual, in your mind, in physical reality, it should make you feel grounded. It should make you feel more calm. It should make you feel more compassionate to
Even,
yourself.
like, a grandparent, if they're if even if they're on the other side, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, let's
Oh, wait, can I
give
say something? Can I add to that? Can I add to
yes.
that? That was really brilliant, and I was trying to think about, like, when I was in the throes of stuff, which is, like, every other day, like, truly just I cannot breathe sometimes, right? I think we're all going through this. I always come back to, like, one belief that I have that I know, and I know we all have belief systems that we just like, maybe it's like you really believe God is good, right? Or you ideally, this is a belief system that is kind of optimistic, that's kind of positive, right? So I always believed that everything works out, right? I've always believed that. And when I look at some like people who I've admired in my life, so like, I think everyone admired Oprah at some point. Like I remember reading an interview with her and I have the exact clipping. She's like, she's been through a lot, like a lot. And they're like, how did you even believe that as someone who was, molested when you were a child and you were, black and, during these times when like no black woman ever made it. She's like, I always believed I was a child of God and, it would just happen. Like I was a child of God, so I was powerful. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Cause I always believed everything would always work out. So if you can find a belief system that you have, or maybe just like, um, it's maybe in the recesses of your mind. So maybe if you're a very spiritual person, you probably already have the belief that, you know, God is good or that things will work out for you, whatever it is. And if you don't find it, find something that you can just grab hold of because it will be your anchor point when things are going crazy. And then when you feel the feelings and you come back to kind of baseline again, you're like, okay, you can come back to that belief system. So whatever the belief system is, share in the comments because I would like to
Yes.
see.
Yes. Okay. So, oh, that reminds me. If you haven't already, subscribe below because I'm going to have more content coming out about this. Let's leave everyone with 3 things. We're going to crowdsource this right now between Anna and I. We did not agree to this ahead of time, but you already gave them one. So one is 3 things that they can walk away from this doing that will help them make the most of this fire era that we're moving into, make the most of this 1 or 10-year, depending on which numerologist you're going to talk to, Anna or someone else. Not that she claims to be a numerologist. 3 things moving into 2026 and beyond, depending on when you're getting this. Just know if you're watching this, no matter when you're watching this, this is for you. They're really going to help you make the most of your life moving forward. So, number 1 is find your internal belief system that is a bedrock that you can follow no matter what. Um, Number 2, I'm going to go and I'm going to give you a minute to think about like number 3, Anna is, find your inner space, find your inner sanctuary, find the place within yourself that you can go to and hear yourself speak the truth of you, which will likely require you getting some alone time. What do you think number
Number
3?
3 is I was listening so intently to you. Number 3 is, basically expect massive change. What can you do now to create the support system for when stuff will probably continue to break until it goes the other way? And it's like, "Oh my gosh, all the pieces are connecting, and my ideal life is right here." That's gonna happen, okay? But before that, a lot of stuff will and probably in between. So what can you do right now to set yourself up for success because if you don't, be honest with yourself, and maybe I really need a therapist, or maybe I really need to see a doctor about this, or maybe I really need to start my journaling practice, or maybe really need to start looking at other jobs. If you're not honest with yourself, the level that life is going to hit your resistance, it's going to be painful, and I've experienced it. You've experienced, at this point we all know. So why not plan ahead? And that's the big reason why I actually wrote Shadow Magic, was because it's like, when you move up to the next level, you're going to sabotage yourself. Your nervous system is going to be like, this is not cool, guys. This is not safe. So just plan for it. If you have a team that you're like, it's happening, and then you can go get a massage session, go talk to, like, that's so great. Or just go to your journal and journal. Like, just set yourself up for success in the midst of change, because change will not stop for a very, 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 probably in a lifetime, right, Patty? Like, change is not gonna slow down.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No, it is not. All right. So I'm going to put a link below on where they can find your book, Shadow Magic. I'm going to put a link below to your program with the Fire Era. And give me the full name of the program because I want to do it justice.
Oh, Fire Era: Secrets to Thriving in a New Economy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the code for that will be good through January 23rd is magic. But if you have a business, you do not want to wait until the last day that code expires, because Anna is going to be doing a bonus session with business owners to help them apply what she teaches to their businesses. And are there any other, oh, I'm going to put links to your viral
Cool.
account and anything else you want to leave our viewers with.
I just want to say, Patty, when you were talking about, like, find people who just, like, make it okay. Patty has been that presence for me in so many times in my life, more than I can count, where it's like I'm freaking out. And then I was like, who is stalwart? Who is solid? Who is just radiating love? It's Patty. And I feel like people can really trust us, Patty, because you and I are the only people that I know of that cry on camera all the time. I'm watching your videos and you're crying, you're making me cry. And I'm like, oh my God.
Look for the tears, people. Look for the
Yeah.
tears.
You can't help it, right? Like, you just can't.
I can't. I do believe it's the soul's truth coming up through the tear ducts. That's what I believe. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go. So
Well, thank you.
Patty, yeah, Patty's my role model.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love you, my friend. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. We met in a mastermind and we have been friends ever since. So
10 years ago? I don't know, something like that.
I know, a really long time, a really long time. All right, everyone. So check out Anna in all the links below. Make sure you subscribe so you keep getting updated content that will be about this time we're moving into. And remember, love yourself, love the heck out of yourself. You are so precious to the world. So absolutely precious. Anna, you are precious to the world. And I am so grateful you're here. And to you watching, you are precious. I promise you, none of us would have agreed to come if we didn't all agree to come. Truly.
Wow, that was deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really deep. Can I share really quickly, when you were saying that, there was
Yeah.
a really, really clear download, which is like, people who are in this community of, like, true love, where it's really just from the heart, right? Like, loving each other and loving ourselves through some of life, most difficult circumstances. It actually, not that we're looking for this, but it really puts us ahead. Like, the leaders in this new world, like, they really are coming from love. They really are heart-based, and there really is a different reality, a different timeline that I'm sure a lot of you are seeing when you're next to somebody who's not coming from love, right? You're able to hold this, like, energy and this stillness and this peace and radiate this, like, transformative, fire is very transformative, right? This higher level of consciousness that we don't give ourselves enough credit for, okay? Because we're maybe still imperfect and doing stuff, but just being able to come back to love, that is a huge boon for the planet, for everyone in your life. And like a channel like Patty's, and Patty is a really powerful channel. Patty tells no lies, like, she just speaks the truth. She's accurate, and, like, the energy is the key, though. The energy of following people like Patty and radiating that love, it's really gonna put you light years ahead, and that's what I felt for a long time. I feel that deeply. I am, like, gonna be this, like, lobbyist for love and for people who
Mhm.
come from that space of love, because you're really gonna stand out, like, amongst the like you said, like, the AI slop and all this stuff, you know?
And I love that, lobbyists for love. You gotta go TM that. Yeah,
Lobbyists for
trademark
love.
that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Follow.
Everyone be a lobbyist for love. I love that. All right, everyone. Thank you for spending this time with us. And Anna, thank you. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everyone.